Hey, Kat.
Hi, Carol.
How you doing this week?
Pretty much fine. Hi, everyone. This is Pretty Much Fine. I'm Kat.
And I'm Carol.
And this week we're talking about a lot of stuff. Roommates. Oh, God. I'm so nervous.
I just want to say, last week I went out to a bar. It was a Thursday night, and it was about 10:30 p.m. And I ordered a Diet Coke because, the night was winding down. So I was like, I'm going to just have a Diet Coke. I'm not going to drink anymore. And the waitress was like, oh, sorry, we don't have any soda. We're completely out of soda. And I was just like, okay, water, tea, not going to cut it. So I was just like, whatever, can I get a beer? And I just ordered another beer because what's the harm, right? And that's the attitude that I'm going to keep going, and the energy for the summer is fuck the Diet Coke, give me another beer.
You know what? I love that, especially when you were out on a Thursday night. Let's mark
Which is
that
unusual
down.
for me.
Yep, Carol's getting wild this summer. Okay, good to know. 2, Jesus Christ, you guys, this Diet Coke habit goes back so far. I used to hear the little drink machine in our dorm, and I knew it was Carol every time.
I was the only one who used it.
She'd be pissed when there was all the Diet Coke was out. I'm like, well, Carol, you're gonna have to start refilling it because it's you.
It was me.
It's out because of you. 3, I wouldn't who cleaned her out of the soda? I'm surprised she wasn't like, I can get you some rum though. You know, was everyone ordering rum and Cokes that night? That's dark.
I don't know. I was not happy. And honestly, you go to a bar, no soda, okay, that's not cool. It wasn't just a bar either, restaurant too. They served food. What the hell was going on?
You were left with no choice, but I like the choice you made. And I love this metaphor for all summer. You're going to be like, okay, this is happening. But you know what? What's one more beer going to do? Let's do it.
Also, if you can't get what you want, just ask for something better. You know?
Ooh, love that. There was this guy in Arizona, the super southern guy. If you listen to the Arizona episode, and if you haven't, hurry, run, don't walk. And he was from Alabama, our favorite place. And he would just, every time he ordered, I guess at one place he was served a warm beer for some reason. So he was like, I'm never going to risk it again. And every time he ordered, he was like, cold beer and a water, please. Cold beer and a water. So, I hope everybody gets a cold beer this summer if you order a beer.
In Europe or something? Why was this beer warm? That's
Who
what I want to know.
knows?
Because honestly, I would be pissed.
Well, yeah, he was really stressed out. He was like, I will now be putting cold before beer at every other place I go.
Every waitress who takes this order must be like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, your beer's going to be cold.
Go beer and a water, please. Don't fuck it up.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's hot. Carol went out on a Thursday. Uh-oh. Everybody, hide your kids, hide your wife. Carol's out here getting wild.
Yeah, Thursday night, I went to happy hour with 2 of my girlfriends, Mackenzie and Lindsay. Shout out to them.
Oh, and you just made yourself look old again by saying my girlfriends. Good job. Great work.
You. But I was talking to them, and they were like, I can't believe you haven't shouted us out on the podcast. So rude. So shout out Mackenzie and Lindsay. But yeah, we went out. We went to a pizza.
Wait, no. They said shout out because they heard DJ K-Dog over here going shouts to the boys left and right, which is something I need to stop doing. So
they were like, everyone else in the world has gotten a shout out in your podcast except us.
Everyone in the state of Arizona has gotten a shout out except our friends, our close friends.
Even the state of Arizona, I think, got a shout out.
Probably. I'm literally going back tomorrow. I hate my life ever since I left.
But yeah, anyways, we went out, and then we met up with our boyfriends because they're all friends, and just kind of had a good little Thursday night, which is unusual for me. I don't like to go out on the weeknights because even if I have just a few beers, I wake up with a headache. It's terrible. I'm so old.
Well, why don't you start drinking a fucking Pedialyte? It's not that hard to correct the situation. I believe
it doesn't
in you.
work. Nothing works for me. I swear.
Because it's the attitude. You're going into it knowing.
It is not, okay? I'm not man, I hope I wake up tomorrow with a hangover. I'm praying for it.
You can't even say getting older. You've been like this since college. Don't even talk to me.
Yeah, that's true, but it got better when I was, like, 21. Like, when I was, like, 21, I used to be able to wake up the next day and, like, get after it again, and, like, now I'm like, "Alright, I
Because
can
we
get
go to
after it again,
Waffle
like, 6
House,
PM."
eat waffles with peanut butter, chocolate chips on top. Don't know if you guys know you can ask for those. It's a game changer. And then we go out again. So maybe you just need to eat Waffle House after.
Yeah, that's true. I have not had Waffle House, I think, since I moved to Charleston, so even though there's Waffle House here, but
We don't
haven't had
have
it.
Waffle House in the north or like anywhere that I'm around at least. And so people after Alabama would get so mad at me because I would call IHOP Waffle House. And I'm like, chill, you know what I'm talking about though. Why does everyone have to be so literal all the time? My God. I also called Arizona, Arkansas for a good month before we went because I just like, who knows what's going on in this brain, but it just mix and matches all of the time.
I also, again, went out on a weeknight, Monday
Shirt
night.
off, baby. You're waving your shirt in the air, just getting legit wild out here. I love it.
Monday, I went to open mic night, which was a lot of fun. I definitely want to go more often, even though it does kind of suck. It's on a Monday night because it's like I can't really get after it on a Monday night. I got work in the morning, you know?
Did
That's
anyone
not my
bomb?
style. Yeah. There's definitely was a good mix of people who were real. There were some people that were like really, really good. Like I was like, okay, like I would literally like watch you do this for half an hour. But then there were some people I was like, all right, so 5 minutes up yet because this is painful. But honestly, shout out to anyone who can do that. That's super nerve wracking. I'm jealous. I will say, I have like a small little like rant. So many white guys. So I got so happy every time like a woman was up there, a person of color. I was like, yes, thank you. I feel like the last thing we need is another straight white male comedian.
No, it is because it's like, it's so funny because comedian is like, usually you have some trauma or something in your life that made you funny. So can these white men shut the fuck up? Because haven't they not been through that much? No, I feel bad. I do say their suicide is the highest, so they're not doing great. But come on, relax.
No, I know. I'm just kidding when I say this, but I mean, the main thing isn't like, okay, it's a straight white dude doing stand up. It's another straight white cisgendered male comic doing a bit about hating women. So innovative, hilarious. It's never been done before.
A white man with a microphone. It's like, get off the stage, like me at your wedding. Not to bring it up again, but I was handed a mic and I said, "Ooh, I like this."
No, it was just like, all right, dude, like, we get it. You hate women. So does every other male comic who has a
Is
punchline
that
like,
really
oh, my
all of their
wife.
bits? That was all of their fucking bits?
Not all of them, just like a few, and they like stood out just because I feel like that's such a common bit for comedians is I hate my wife, I hate my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like it's always like, oh, my wife.
That's
It's
when
like,
you're
come on.
automatically bad because, like, there's a lot of comics out there and you're gonna have to say something that we haven't heard 1,800 times. Oh my God, you hate your
Yeah,
wife. That's so crazy. Stop getting married. It's that fucking easy.
so innovative.
Jesus. Like, everyone needs to get on my level. Stop getting married. No offense, Carol. Sorry. You know how I feel about marriage.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of my boring life, I think my cats are trying to kill me.
Oh, they're plotting against you, like their little paws are just hee hee going back and forth, waiting for your death
Yes,
and
literally.
demise.
I woke up the other I
Oh my
woke
God,
up the
Jack actually just spoke up and said, "Bitch!"
Oh my god. But I woke up the other day with literal chest pain. Like chest pains like the bone, like my chest plate. I don't know what this bone's called, your sternum.
Your
It was
chest
like
bone's
so
connected
much
to your hip bone.
it hurt so bad and I was like how could have this happened? Did I bump into something in the middle of the night? Like, did I sleep in a weird position? And then I realized that I have two cats and they're both like 15 pounds and they walk all over me when I'm sleeping. And so I'm like, my cat probably came in and like stood on my chest and like I was asleep and I couldn't push them off. And so, yeah, I like literally had a 15-pound weight just like punctured into my sternum and it still hurts like a week later.
So sweet though. They want to cuddle with you all night. They want to get closer to you.
See, I think that that's how they trick you. You're like, "Aw, they love me," but they're like, "God, let me just how do I kill this thing?"
My cat can suffocate me. I can't wait to have a cat so badly that it is allowed to suffocate me. It better cuddle with me that hard because I need to be hugged throughout my sleep because I've been waking up sweating a lot lately. So I'm trying to figure out what anxiety I am blocking out so well that it's coming out in my sweat during my sleep. So I'm gonna need a cat to like. I don't even care if I freaking suffocate. Maybe that's what I need because I need a cuddle from a goddamn cat. That's what I need. Send me one over. I'll take a 15-pound weight over the weight of the world that's going through my mind when I'm dreaming. Apparently.
Oh my god. Yeah, but it's officially happened. They're officially trying to kill me.
Maybe they're both on there. Maybe it's 30 pounds, and like Phoebe's like, Jack, get over here. She won't go down. We're gonna need 15 more on this chest. She's still breathing.
Literally, they're probably working together.
It's always the mom, too. The dad always gets to look like the good guy.
I know.
And even though you do everything, most likely they're like, yeah, this bitch needs to go.
Yeah, Keegan will literally like the cat will be doing something wrong, and he'll like look at me and be like,
Dad never yells at us.
He's like, "Are you gonna yell at them?" And I'm like, "You do it." And he's like, "No, I want them to like me."
Wow, that's actually so cold. That's some bullshit. That's
So
actually like every dad ever.
literally.
Legit. Mom's always out here having to be the bad guy.
But anyways, other than that, happy Pride, I guess, month of June.
Happy Pride.
Woo.
Sorry that we're straight. That's no fun.
Yeah, but this week is like for the neighborhood I live in, it's like Pride week, so there's like so many fun events going on. So I'm gonna be going to some of those this weekend. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, Kat, what's going on with you?
If only there was more rainbow in my black
That
and white
sigh.
life. I am a 1940s film just getting through the muck of this noir that someone bestowed over me,
Oh my
upon me,
god.
whatever the fuck they did. The universe is currently shifted to a side that is not mine. And the best thing in my life is that like the phone case I ordered came differently than it was pictured in a good way. Like the picture it's a cat phone case. Uh-oh, shocking. Staying on brand. Another non-exciting week for Kat. Nothing crazy. Still home and probably will be for a little bit longer, which you'll hear more about shortly. But the first thing I want to do this week is talk about last week's episode, which I'm going to have like an ADHD mental health moment here because, get to the main theme is our disorders. Boop, boop.
Fun.
I have ADHD perfectionism, which like I really have never heard before, but anytime like something in my life ruins my life, I just Google it, see what's going on. And I have always had this. So like to put it in a word is always very like I'm glad there's so many people
Yeah,
out there suffering,
you
not
feel
suffering.
like you feel seen.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to read the definition really quick so you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've actually never heard of this before until you were like talking about it last week.
So this is we are quoting Psychology Today, the number one website I always finds me.
What's the source?
That's the source, baby. Consider the source. Okay. So there's apparently two types of ADHD perfectionism, back end perfectionism, and I think front end, but I only have a screenshot of the back end because that's what I related to the most. So you guys can look up the rest. Not my project. Okay. So back end perfectionism can be viewed as having extremely high, rigid standards for quality, details, and or performance. Like the classic definition of perfectionism above, this outlook leads to difficulties completing and submitting projects because they are not impeccable, often driven by vague gut level sense that with just a little more time, the product could be better. And that's like the main gist that has run my life as long as I can remember. I mean, in school, I was the girl finishing a project in homeroom. I would avoid it because I was like, this isn't going to be good. So I'd avoid like the being bad, basically. And
Yeah.
then I'd have to do it last minute, which made it really bad. So it really never helps. But and then like with writing scripts and everything, I always will start them and I never finish them because I'm like, if you don't finish it, it can't be bad. I don't know. I want everything. When I don't care about something, I don't give a flying fuck how it turns out. When it's like a passion project, I panic and like I want it. I need it to be perfect. And
Yeah.
last week we we recorded and we'll admit we didn't test the sound. Uh-oh, rookie
Yeah, the
mistake.
one time we didn't do a sound check.
Legit, which is Murphy's Law. What can happen will happen. Also runs my life. But we were using a different platform too. And it's like we're big talk over each other people. Like that's part of our chemistry. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. Because we're not changing. And that platform made it every time you talk over each other, like it cuts out one person. It's all weird. And so we switched, and hopefully this one will be amazing. We did the test. We did multiple tests. So look out,
Yeah.
world. But last week we did not do a test, and then like I had different equipment than Carol, and like it was all just it was fine. Everyone that I texted, Carol told me to text like a vague, let me know what you think of the audio this week and like say nothing more because she played it for Keegan, her husband, and like he said he didn't notice until she pointed it out.
Yeah.
But when I listened, I had an actual meltdown. I was like, oh my God, I sound like I'm on Zoom in a different room compared to your crisp, gorgeous fall fucking leaf sound. I'm so like, this cannot be released. We're deleting this whole episode. I'd rather send nothing out than this. I quit the podcast. Like when I have a meltdown, it goes like deep down into a hole. I genuinely like when I have insurance again in July, I will find a therapist and I will discuss how to not have a full-fledged domino hitting all the other dominoes. My whole life is over meltdown because I go from like my life is so chill to like when one thing goes wrong, I think of every part of my life that's wrong, and it's a
Yeah.
downward spiral. I'm
Yeah. I
such a
mean,
catch. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. Like, I think it's also one of those things you notice more than like other people. But like, I mean, you weren't crazy. I definitely could tell there was an issue with the audio. I'm validating you.
Thank
You were right.
you.
There was something off. But I do think it's like one of those things you notice other people don't notice. But if it drives you crazy, like this happens to me all the time with graphic design. Like if something isn't exactly spaced the way I want it, like I can't just be like, whatever. I'm like, no, it has to be fixed. And like that's how everyone who I've worked for, like every manager I've ever had has like had this like super rigid, like standards for like graphic design stuff, and it's really instilled it in me. So when my manager's like, I know it sounds crazy, but like can you just like move the spacing of those letters like a centimeter, half a centimeter, I'm like, no, I totally get it. If it bothers you, it's not right, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
if
I
you
totally
notice
get that. You're not
it,
alone there. I'm like that too. It's not as overall consuming for me because like I don't have that problem that you like are dealing with, but totally understand. You're valid. I see you, I hear you.
I feel like that makes sense because we're both in creative fields and it's like cupcakes and frosting, baby. Like, I feel like ADHD perfectionism is like, I feel like a lot of people in the creative field have ADD or ADHD or
Yeah,
whatever. They're
that's
the same
true.
thing, but different. You know what I mean? Science.
Yeah, I think perfectionism too is pretty common. Like most people I know who are successful are perfectionists, you know? Like and I mean every manager I've had like for the most part I've really just like loved and really like appreciate their like level of perfectionism because it kind of taught me to like notice small things and like how to make something look perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely nice to have a word for it because there's actually like many years where like I would read about it, but I'd be like, I'm not a perfectionist. Like, I don't finish fucking anything. I feel like I always have pictured like a perfectionist is like the type A girl in a business suit that gets shit done and needs
Yeah.
things to be perfect. So I always like unvalidated myself. Like, yeah, there's no way I'm a perfectionist. Like, I avoid doing work as much as I can. So, but then that's what it is. I'm avoiding it because I'm afraid that it won't be perfect.
Yeah, and you're also like you're hyper fixated on things that you're passionate about, not everything, which I feel like a
Yeah.
perfectionist, like they care about everything being perfect. And you're like, well, if I don't care about it, like who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Who gives a flying figgity unless I do. But yeah, it was nice to get through it. Carol's a flawless editor, and she did what she could with the freaking corpse, brought it back to life, like put a little filter on it, like legit. Uh, what are those called? The jaws of
I
life.
was
The
I was just thinking like clear,
clear, clear, legit. Um,
like rub them together, slap them on the chest.
she also had to spend hours of her life talking me off the ledge. Because I mean, I really was pretty adamant, like, yeah, this is not going to the world. I'm pissed. And like, I was mostly pissed because it was a good episode and I loved our topic and I loved our flow. That I was like, how dare my sound taint this episode?
Yeah. No, I understand. And
But
I'm
everyone
like,
that texted
I
me
get
liked
you.
it and didn't notice it, or at least that's what they told me. So we're moving on and we're reflecting and we're getting better each and every episode.
Yes. Yeah, we learned our lesson.
Rate, review,
So yeah.
subscribe.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we were using like a free program to record and now we've upgraded.
We
We're
put
using one.
dollars in, baby. We're
Yeah.
invested now. So please help us make them back and rate, review, subscribe. Can't say it enough. I don't want to work ever again except on a podcast. Okay. Okay, bye. See you later.
Oh my god.
You may open your credit card out of your wallet now. My Venmo is. Anyway. So yeah. And then my other catch up is actually has to like formed our whole episode for this week.
Yeah, I'm so
So
excited for our topic.
yeah, our topic's light, but this scenario like put me into another dark hole that I have yet to crawl out of. So here we are. Basically on Monday, the holiday, I got a very long text message from in my roommate group message. And I would like to start this since this is going on a public platform with I like both of my roommates, but like this is probably the biggest like dramatic moment we've had thus far.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about it because like it absolutely, I have not been this anxious in a long time. Like it
Yeah.
spiked me spiked my peak anxiety right now. Like I haven't even been able to answer this long text and it is now Thursday. So oh god, I can't breathe all of a
Yeah.
sudden. How
Sometimes
wild.
sometimes it like helps to like talk out your anxiety triggers for sure.
Yes. So I got the text and it's a long thing. Basically, one of my roommates just stated, no discussion, just stated that she offered her boyfriend to sublet her room for the rest of the summer starting at June 15th because she quit her job and is like going to start a new job, but I guess not until the end of the summer. So I don't even know where she's going because I'm truly never in the loop. Sorry, but I'm not. And yeah, so just stated it. Long paragraph, a little kissy face. I don't feel very kissy face right now, I have to admit. But yeah, and I'm honestly, which they will know soon when I finally answer, so it's not like it's unknown, not happy. I'm not happy about it. I'm actually like very mad about it and I'm really bad at confrontation. Shocking, having
Same, same.
anxiety. Usually confrontation and anxiety are not friends. I would avoid it if I didn't have to live there. You know what I mean? And obviously since I'm
Yeah.
still home, haven't gone back, I am avoiding it. And I also want to like collect my thoughts and like get the emotion out of my response because like I don't want to be an asshole. Like I really like these people. I don't want to ruin anything. But this like, ooh, am I mad? Like I don't know. It's just so awkward because I'm also a people pleaser. So I want to just be like, sure. But like my true self is like, absolutely not. I don't
No, I
want to live
mean,
with a man. I never have wanted to. Even watching New Girl, I was like, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare.
yeah.
Living with men? No, not for me.
Yeah, I agree. That's like a totally different dynamic and I can totally see why you would be uncomfortable with that. Like
Even
that's just like
when
an uncomfortable situation like to be forced upon you, like while you're moving.
that's what I'm most mad about. Like, what? I already feel out of the loop because like my roommate that I originally lived with for 2 years in New York, like brought her in when we moved in October during the pandemic so that we can get like a bigger space, blah, blah. And I just feel like I'm so out, like they're always talking and then it'll be sent in the group message. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm never
Yeah.
included, never in the loop, which like day to day, I don't care. But when it comes to like this is being sent out of the blue for me, and it feels like, which this is not confirmed as fact, but it feels like they've both been talking about it and now I'm just brought in when
Yeah,
it's
you, like,
already
just got
happening.
yeah.
That's my main thing that I need to respond to, because like at this point it's like whatever. I guess he's living there this summer. I don't feel like I can fully be like no. So my main point I need to get across is like I feel weird going to my own home because
Yeah.
feels like you didn't consider me as a human in living there. So it just like sucks. And like I've had a scenario where I can't stop comparing it to where I just asked for the living room one Sunday when my friends were visiting and she hit me with a no. So I'm like, I asked for the living room and I got a no, and you didn't even ask if your boyfriend could live with us. Like
Yeah.
that's harsh, man. That's bloody harsh, okay?
Yeah, living with roommates in general is, like, always, you know, there's always gonna be situations that you're, like, ugh, stuck in
I
that you
want to
don't
be
wanna
full
be in.
disclosure. My stomach is in knots right now. Like, I know when we're editing this, you are going to have to talk me off a ledge again because, like, I just, God, this is just sucks. This sucks. Whatever. But yeah, I literally avoid when their boyfriends are over when I'm there. Like, if it's like, but that's one day, like you have to get through a Sunday or whenever they're there during the week. And I like my room. So whatever, I'll stay in it. But like to live there, I can't avoid that forever, man. Ugh. And like, is it the summer? Is it? Or is it going to be one of those horror stories like on the movies where they say the summer and then they never freaking leave? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm stressed and I got to put my little foot down and like stick up for myself and say like in the future everything needs to be a discussion. I feel so uncomfortable even talking about it right now. So let's get into the lighter part of this where we are going to hit you guys with like going through each roommate we've ever had and we'll switch off back and forth. Whew, yeah, let's Carol, do you want to start? Do you want me to start? I feel like I've had more roommates than you, so maybe I should start.
I have moved a lot more than you, I think.
Yeah, you have like since childhood, literally.
Yeah. So I guess I can just start with, like, that. I, like, grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, so I was, like, born there and, like, lived there until my dad got another job, and then my family, like, moved to Jacksonville, Florida in, like, 6th grade. So that was, like, the first time I, like, ever moved. So I moved to Jacksonville, Florida in the 6th grade. Talk about an anxiety-inducing experience, because I do remember being so excited to move for some reason, which I kinda talked about in the last episode, like our fears. Like, I'm scared to change, love to move, I always have, I don't know why. But yeah,
That
i
is
i do
weird.
remember I was so terrified to start a new school, like could not sleep. Like, I remember I did not sleep the night before my first day of school at all, not one wink. Like, I grew up going to private Catholic school, and I grew up like with the same people that I had been in kindergarten with. Like, I knew everyone, they knew me. I had known some of them, like my parents had been friends with their parents, and like before any of us were even born. So like there were some people that I had like built-in friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just so terrified to like start a public school. I do remember what I wore my first day, because I wore uniforms like growing up every
You
single day.
always remember exactly what you're
I
wearing. Don't
know,
know if
I
you
know.
guys
Well,
listened
this
to our
one,
first episode, but she described her outfit down to the eyelet shorts, whatever that means, of the night we were supposed to go to dinner and I didn't go. Sorry.
I
Go listen to
think
that.
I think I remember it because it is so embarrassing. I wore my first day, like the first day I got to ever dress myself for school. I wore a denim skirt, not like a tight one, like it was like flared,
Ooh, get it.
black leggings that were like
That
cropped.
was
Ugh.
such a look. Leggings and
Yeah.
skirts. Why was that a thing? Horrifying.
And then I wore a red short sleeve tight polo t-shirt, like with a collar,
Ooh, that's hot.
and nude Crocs.
Oh my God. I didn't even know Crocs dated back that far.
Oh yeah. It
That
was like I was like, I'm in Florida, I'm a Croc girl now.
That's where they originated, Florida. That explains everything. Oh my God. I don't know. That's not fact, people. You can check us on that, but I would not be shocked if Crocs originated in Florida.
Yeah, honestly, same. But yeah, I'll
God,
never
that's
forget.
literally the state in a shoe. If we were to pick a shoe for every state, Florida
A
gets the
sweaty
fucking Croc.
a sweaty crock.
Oh God, disturbed.
Oh my god. But yeah, I'll never forget my first day of public school. It was terrifying. I bawled my eyes out to my gym teacher who looked at me like they just like did not make enough money to be dealing with my bullshit. They were like, "Okay, dude, like get over it. You're going to be fine." Oh god, it was awful. I just was so scared. Like at my private school, like if you cursed, if you said a swear word, you were like suspended. Like they were like if you said, "Ah, damn it," like you were not at school the next day. Uh, Cut to me in public school, literally girl yelling jackass to like some guy in gym class, and I was
Cut
like,
to
"Oh my
Florida.
god."
Cut the camera to Florida.
I was terrified. I was like public school, Florida. Imagine.
I know. We're going to never
Imagine.
have a Florida listener because of me. I'm sorry. It's just so easy to make fun of. It's like, see, I was making fun of comedians for making the same jokes earlier. And now I'm just going low hanging fruit on Florida right now.
You're not the only one. Like most like when I lived in Florida, I was like, "Ugh, yeah, Florida."
It's just too easy.
So then about 2 days after I graduated high school, me and my family moved to Birmingham, Alabama, which was also not fun. I did not want to move at all, but I did.
But you were meant to make me.
Yeah. So then the next time I moved was when I moved to Tuscaloosa. So we kind of talked a little bit about like moving into the dorms and all that in our first
And
episode.
how we
So
were dorm neighbors.
yeah. So make sure you listen. If you haven't already listened to that, make sure you listen to that episode because we kind of go into it a little bit more. But yeah, I remember moving to Tuscaloosa. I was going to the University of Alabama my freshman year.
Roll
And
Tide! Woo
yeah,
woo! Yeah, we love sports! Woo!
yeah, I did not want to move there either. But I did. And I actually met my roommate before I moved in. She like reached out to me on Facebook because you get like paired if you don't know anyone. Like I didn't know a single soul at the University of Alabama. I they just
Samesies.
pair you with like a rando. And so I remember I didn't even like want to know. I didn't even check who my roommate was because I was like blocking it out. I was so scared because you also the dorm at least Kat and I lived in is like the most basic like probably cheapest dorm there is where you literally it's a shoebox. Like it is the size of a small bedroom and there's two beds, two closets and two desks, like tiny little desks and that's it.
Our
You
dorm was
share a
the
bathroom with a
dorm.
whole floor of people.
Yeah, our dorm was a dorm that everyone would run to when they got this dorm assignment, they would run to the Facebook group, including me, by the way, and type, "Does anyone want Parham to switch? I can't live in Parham." And everyone would list like the worst dorms, Parham and something else, and it would be like, "Wow, my life's over. I'm in Parham."
Yeah, I remember like seeing that dorm and I was like, I have to live here. It was amazing location, like the
There
best
was
location on
black
campus.
mold
But
in the common room, you
yeah, it was
guys.
gross. It was so old, so The bathrooms were gross. Like it was just, and a lot of like, it was just like a random mix of people too. I feel like they just like threw
It
everyone
was
they didn't
known
know what to
as the
do with.
foreign dorm.
Yeah, there was a lot of like foreign exchange students, but like they were always fine. They would like actually, I remember like there
No,
was
they
like a
were
big
great.
group of foreign exchange students. They would always be like in the kitchen baking. And I was like,
I
that's so
always
fun.
wanted to eat their shit so
I
bad.
know. It always like I remember being like, oh damn, they look like they're having so much fun. Maybe I should try and be friends with them. But I could have probably gone up to them and talked to them and they would have been my friend. But you know,
We
anxiety.
got a
So
kick out of that though. We were like, "Oh, they stuck us. We're foreigners. We are foreigners in Alabama, basically. So they stuck
yeah.
us in here. Not even an exchange student, but okay.
They tell you who your roommate is. And so she like got my name. My name is the most basic name ever. Caroline Smith. Like,
Dead body
okay.
number one.
Yeah, 10 million other
Might
people.
as well
She
be
said
Jane Doe.
yeah, she said she added like 5 or 10, like a ton of people on Facebook was like, are you my roommate?
Oh
Because there
my
was just
god.
so many. But yeah, so she like reached out to me on Facebook and we were chatting. She seemed really cool. And then she was like, so I wasn't doing sorority rush and she was. So she was going to be coming down to campus like the week before I was. So she flew into basically the way Alabama works. There's no airport in Tuscaloosa. You have to fly into Birmingham and then drive 45 minutes to Tuscaloosa. So she had like flown in with her family the week before we were supposed to like move in and to Birmingham. And so we all like I had dinner with her parents and my parents and it was really I highly recommend doing that if you can, uh, before you go away to school for the first time, if like that's a possibility, because it was really a huge anxiety relief to meet her and her family and be like, okay, this person is normal and they're not a psycho and they're not going to murder me. And if they do, at least I know who their family is.
And you don't have to be nervous because, like, your parents are there, so they can be your weirdo ass
Yeah.
joke making icebreakers. And if you won't have those moments of silence that you could
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. And it was really nice, like getting to know her there. And then when I did move in, I wasn't like super nervous about like being around her because I kind of felt like I knew her a little bit because we chatted before.
And she's super
And
outgoing, so that was
yeah,
nice too.
my college roommate situation was honestly ideal. Like she was super social and active too, so she was like never there. So I had the place to myself all the time.
Except the weird times where, no offense, if you're listening, we love you, but she would have her ex-boyfriend, at the time boyfriend, like he had one of the so nice dorms where they have their own room, their own bathroom, like a living room, a little kitchen, and yet they would cuddle in her twin bed in our nasty ass dorm. I never understood that.
I do remember that. I remember one time my like high school boyfriend that I stupidly was dating like came to visit me, and like I remember her and her boyfriend were like in there and I was like, dude, like read the room. Like go away.
We're not
I
trying to
haven't
have a
seen
double date.
I haven't seen this man in like 2-3 months. Go. So I do have a great story, roommate story that Kat was actually involved in. So you're
Oh
gonna have
my
some.
god, wait, this is the best story ever. Let's
Do you know what I'm
go.
about to say?
Oh yeah.
So one night, we haven't exactly addressed how Kat and I both ended up in a sorority, which we will one day. But
One day.
we ended up both being in a sorority. And if you don't know like much about sororities, whatever, you go on like swaps, which are these themed parties. You go to a fraternity and like have this theme party. So Kat, my roommate, and myself were all three in different sororities. So, and like swaps were usually on like the same night. So we like all had a different party we were at, and then we like met back up at like our dorm room. So we were all dressed in like different outfits. Like mine was like rocker themed. I don't remember what you and my roommate were wearing.
I was wearing a tutu. I was a
Oh yeah.
princess. I
Yes.
forget what our theme was, but I was a princess and I was wearing a tutu with long socks that I drew crowns on and like wrote on the shirt. I looked like a fucking weirdo. Like, Jesus.
But anyways, we were like all hammered because we were all 18 and definitely drank more than like our 18-year-old bodies could handle.
I used to put
And
a straw in Fireball, like just the
yeah, we were
bottle of it.
sicko mode.
Disgusting.
Sicko mode.
I could never even look at Fireball now.
Me neither. But we were probably so drunk and so loud. And like, I have no idea what we were even doing all in my room. We were just chatting, being loud, being
Me and
hammered.
your roommate were making fun of the stuffed animal that said ex-boyfriend had gotten you.
Oh,
We
God.
tortured Carol. It was actually kind of mean. I feel bad. Not mean, but like we would he got her a fucking giraffe, and let's just say I didn't like this man. Me and your roommate take her giraffe Jeffrey and like hide him around. And I remember we jokingly put him on the thing we're about to get to. And I think
Wait, is
that's
that
how
how
it
that happened?
started. Like at first we were just joking around putting Jeffrey on blank, sorry to keep you at the edge of your seat. And then we went back in the room and then your roommate left and we thought she was just going to pee. And next thing we know, hit us with a Carol.
She pulled the fire alarm.
So we're jokingly putting Jeffrey on the fire alarm. And then
Is
maybe
that
that
I
like
do not remember the
triggered,
part with.
maybe that
Yeah,
triggered
I
the
blocked it
idea in
out.
her head. I don't know. She was
I
just
must have
hammered.
blocked that whole part about the stuffed animal out clearly because I don't remember that at all. I just remember her getting up to like go to the bathroom and then like all of a sudden there's this super like Kat, you and I were both in my room still.
We were sitting crisscross applesauce. Your roommate gets up to pee. Like we were having girl talk. It's like 2 a.m. Let's note that it is the 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's not early.
Not a normal time of night. We start hearing the buzzing of a fire alarm, and none of us think it's your roommate as the culprit. So we're just like, ah, shit, what the fuck? And then she sprints in the
Yeah.
room.
She slams the door behind her and she hides. Do you remember that? She
Yes.
literally hid and we were like, wait, what's going on? She was like, that was me. I pulled the fire alarm. And we start dying laughing.
Because we're hammered.
Because we are not good people, apparently. Like, that was so rude.
That was so rude. So instead of thinking like, oh my God, you're about to wake everyone up and they're going to be in towels, which they were, and like robes, we were cackling. Like, roommate at it again.
And how obvious were we? Because everyone was going down the stairs and we were dying laughing. And everyone had like just woken up like, oh my God. Let me just go ahead and say, we did not know she was going to do that. And we did not do it on purpose or anything. So
yeah, please don't tell the fire department. Rude. Hope the statute of limitations is out on that because, yeah, we are innocent until proven guilty, okay?
Yeah, seriously. I just remember my older sister when she lived in her dorm, she was like, oh my God, someone pulled the fire alarm like once a week and she hated it. And so I felt so bad. But anyways, we're cackling, running down the stairs.
We're the last to leave, which was also obvious. We're like, well, we know there's no fire, so we'll chill here for a sec.
Yeah, like it was wild.
Oh, wait, we were going down the stairs with people? Oh my God, this is fresh in my head as if it was yesterday.
Yeah, we were like walking downstairs and we were dying laughing.
Everyone's like pissed. Everyone's pissed. And we are 3 drunk girls in sorority, like dress up outfits, cackling our way down the stairs. Wow, I'm surprised we were not reported as the clear culprits.
So the fire department came. Girls were standing outside our dorm in their towels, shivering, and my roommate is hammered and she's going up to them and like rubbing their arms for them, like, oh, are you cold? I'm so sorry. This sucks, right?
Yeah, people are like, wait, why are you sorry? Like, legit couldn't be worse if we were like in a police interview. She'd be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was wild. We were having the time of our lives, though. There's a picture of me lying on the pool table.
It's one of my best memories, honestly.
In the other dorm. Like,
yes!
There's a dorm across
Wait,
the
it was
street.
taking so long and people were so cold. They started going in the dorm across the street and we're still basically like we're at a party. There was like a little common room with a pool table and we start taking, I can find these pictures. We might have to post them.
Oh, yeah, I have them.
Hell yeah.
I've got the receipts.
We started hugging each other, laying on the pool table, taking pictures. Who are these obnoxious 3 girls? We don't know them.
I like can't even imagine. I would have been like so pissed at us if
Future Carol would hate that past Carol.
Oh, I do. I'm cringing right now. Like I'm like, should we cut this? Like let's delete it.
No,
don't let
anyone know. This is college gold. Everyone did something dumb in college, and we didn't pull it. Want to make that clear? We would have never. Yeah. We're angels.
Kat and I were not involved.
We laughed very much.
But it is one of my. It's my favorite room. Like my favorite story of my roommate. Oh my God.
I mean, her run in the room is my favorite part. We had no idea.
I know. She's hiding. She literally hid. She ran in and hid, like as if that she could just like pretend like she didn't just do that.
I think I even have a picture where I put Jeffrey on the fire alarm and took a picture and said, found the culprit.
Yes. Oh my God. You're unlocking things in my memory.
Jeffrey, the stuffed animal, came to life and pulled the fire alarm. How dark. And it's also funny because the girls, we were friends with everyone you could be friends with in that dorm, like everyone that could speak legit English. And except we had this like end of the hall, which was right next to your room, hated us. Probably because we were loud until 3 a.m. and pulling fire alarms.
They would be loud too.
Yeah, they were loud. But they hated us for, in our book, no reason. But if we could have them on the pod to tell their side, I'm sure we wouldn't look great either.
No, absolutely not.
Like, absolutely not, yeah.
Well, there was like one time, I remember like one of our friends on the hall was like in my room and like we had our door like open and it was like you, me, and her and just like hanging out like on my bed or whatever and like watching Vines, which is like so embarrassing.
I used to
like,
make Vines and now I can't even make a TikTok. I'm so old.
Oh. But yeah, and we were just like all dying laughing and like it was like 3 p.m. and like they came over. I'm like, can you guys keep it down? And I was like, it's 3 p.m. and we're laughing. Like, chill.
If you're studying, there's libraries for that.
Seriously.
I never studied in a library ever in my life because I'm a people watcher in a library. I can't study. I'm watching that girl with their boyfriend over there. I'm watching that weird dude like so stressed out while he's studying. I don't know. I could not focus in a library.
Oh, I loved going to the library at school.
Only time I was at a library is when I sat outside at 3 a.m. because I was mad at you. We'll get into that one day too. And the little security guard was like, you good? And I was like, no. I'm not.
Do you want to tell us about your freshman year roommate, your first roommate ever?
Isabella Villarreal. I'm naming names because it's so funny you mentioned the Facebook search. I couldn't find my roommate anywhere, so I don't think you'll be able to either. I mean, I don't even know if she existed. Like, I obviously so anxious about going to school. It was my first like departure from home. Never went to camp. Should have gone to camp. Would have helped. But I was so nervous. And so, like, of course, I actually had the same kind of meltdown I had about our sound last week that I had about my dorm assignment, which was Parham. I tried so hard to move dorms to the nice dorm, and I had a girl that was gonna switch with me. And then my mom talked me out of it because, like, Parham sucked, but it was prime location to getting to class, and I'm never
That's
on time
beautiful.
for anything. So my mom was like, "You really want to walk 20 minutes to class when you're already late?"
That dorm was far. It
Yeah.
was longer than 20
It
minutes.
was so far. And she talked me out of it. And God, everything happens for a reason because here we are now, everybody. Would
So
have never met Carol.
beautiful. I would have never met you. There was like 7,000 freshmen.
So dark. So happy
More
that
than that.
I suffered through black mold for you. But like this girl never even came. Like, and she never
Yeah.
told the school that she wasn't coming. So Isabella, if you're out there, I hope you've had a nice life. I will admit,
Yeah, we never met her. She
yeah,
never came.
never came. I will admit that my dad used to joke that she got lost at sea. Because like I also like how
Typical
you
dad
you
joke.
get you get an Alabama email before you even get there. So like I not only like when I couldn't find her on Facebook, I was like, okay, I guess I'll email her on this friggin' email. No response. And then all the
Oh,
people at her dorm was like, that's weird. Like, I mean, she hasn't told us she's not coming. So they basically said, like, wait it out and we'll assign you someone new, like if she really doesn't come. And in my
yeah.
head, I was like, wait, I now have my own room. I hope she never comes. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a pretty ideal setup there.
It was so hard.
Not having a roommate you didn't have a roommate for a while. It
So
was the first like
hard.
3 months probably, right? At least.
At least. And I was like so happy because like I wasn't alone because I would just go and torture Carol and never leave her room. And then
Yeah, we were literally steps away from like right next to each other to set the
I would
scene.
do
We were basically
anything.
roommates, like
Oh yeah, because I wouldn't leave your
even though we
room.
didn't live in the same shoebox like my roommate and I did.
You
I would also like use Kat's room as like refuge like if I ever wanted to like get away, I'd be like, "Oh, I can just go in Kat's room like if I don't want to be in my room." Which
facts.
was always so nice cuz your roommate was never there.
And I never locked it. Come on in, everybody. Um, do you even remember when that girl they were trying to fill my room and they sent a girl like over and she knocked and asked me questions like trying to figure out if I'd be a good match of a roommate for her and I said yes to all of them even though I was the exact opposite of all the things she wanted and I also didn't want them to fill my room so I don't know why I was like yeah totally girl. Well, it was such like a people pleaser moment for me. Like why did I say I go to bed early when I stay up all night?
Yeah, I remember when you did that because I remember you were panicking. You were like, "Oh my god, like I hope that she doesn't like move in with me because I just clearly lied to her about all this stuff." I was like, "Why would you lie? Why wouldn't you just say the truth? Because then she's not going to move in. You're going to keep not having a roommate." Like,
Dear future therapist, please help me stop being a people pleaser. I'm begging you. It's ruining my life.
well, good thing that was not the person who moved in with you.
Thankfully, she must have sensed my lies because she never came back. But then, honestly, this was one of those situations that you panic about for so long. I was so scared I'd get a horrible roommate. And then she never came. Amazing. And then so, like, at orientation, which I was also so nervous about, I made a friend right away. I was leaving the parking. Her name's Mackenzie. She's amazing. I miss her. She lives in Colorado now. Miss you, girl. I made a friend because I was wearing a Red Sox shirt and she was from Boston. So she like came up to me and go fucking Sox. You made me a friend. It was weird because it was like I was so fucking nervous about meeting no friends and like you have to live in the dorm for orientation and they like assign you two people. And I met her right when I was walking to the dorm for the first time out of the parking garage and I was like, wow, there is someone watching over me out there. I have a friend already. Because I would say like
Beautiful.
as we've talked about like fears last week, like my anxiety, like always worst case scenario. So one of my number one things, especially like when I went to college and when I moved to New York, I'd be like, I'm never gonna have friends because like I am nothing without friendship. I'm just a shell of a woman without friendship. So I panic. But that was a great case scenario. Amazing. We stayed friends. We even got to request that like we stayed in the same little room for orientation. So we solidified that friendship. Anyway, she is truly not even close to what you picture as a sorority girl, but she was giving it a try, more for her mom than for herself. She even ended up living in a dorm called dun 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 Tutwiler, which is legit a
Ooh.
12-floor tower of sorority girl. Like truly
I don't
12.
even know how they like do that. You know what I mean? Like how do they put all of them there?
It's honestly probably 13 floors, and they just don't want to say that it's like a haunted freaking tower of hell. But it's not even kidding, a full girls dorm, and every single girl in that dorm plans on joining a sorority that they like request Tut. And Tut was just as disgusting as our dorm. So like the fact that girls, it's
Yeah.
like their moms, Tut had been around so long that like every girl's mom had lived in it with her sorority
Yeah.
sister kind of thing. So, and that was like the dorm they'd put on, this could be a rumor, I don't know, but suicide watch after Rush because these
Yeah.
girls were going to Alabama to be in the sorority of their dreams.
Yeah.
Um, but she got Tut like just assigned. She didn't ask for it. It's just like truly the opposite of her. Like she is so Colorado, chill, flannel, hiking girl. Like just not saying anyone in a sorority can't do those things, but just not the stereotypical. And there's just that's the kind of dorm that's just spilling with posters of like, woohoo, you joined this, yeah, whatever. And like
Yeah.
at those parties, we went to the night of the fire alarm. Like you're never sleeping because every girl every night is getting ready for some type of freshman
Yeah.
party.
I bet it's so loud.
Yes, it is.
I'm
And
glad I did not live there.
me too. But I would have been crying in front of all these people. So she did rush and she did get in, but she quickly like dropped because she got in trouble. There's like this opening concert every year and she got in trouble for smoking weed at the concert because when you're a pledge, you literally aren't allowed to do anything that's fun. Um and so right in that moment she was like, fuck this. I will not be told what to do my freshman year of college, and she left. And then she texted me one day asking if I still didn't have a roommate and if she could like move out of the hell tower and come to party. And even though I was enjoying having my own room, I was like happy about it because it was lonely sometimes in there.
Yeah.
And also it worked out perfectly because she ended up never being there because she like fell for an upperclassman that had like an off-campus house, so she was always there. And
Yeah.
you became friends with her, which was nice. I didn't smoke yet, so like you guys would bond with weed, and I'd be like the loser in the other room, panicking that you guys were gonna get in trouble. Which wow, we have completely switched sides on that.
Oh my god. Well, we never like smoked in the dorms. I do
No,
remember the
no.
time we like hung out. Well, I did, but we never did it together.
No, I was saving you there. I was like, no, never. There wasn't a time where it was me and your roommate, and I was in the room with you guys, and you had the window open, like the under the
Oh my god, I
door.
forgot
You
about
had under
that.
the
Oh my
door,
god.
like you teed the D, toweled the door, and you guys were just giggling. The least anxious I've ever seen Carol. While I'm sitting there, like, oh my god, you guys, like, this is so risky. Oh my god, I can't believe you're
It
smoking.
was. That's probably this one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Like I can't believe
You
that
were
I
not
was
the
like
only one doing it though. In freshman year in college, you were not the only one. And we had the most chill.
I
We
know.
couldn't have a chiller girl running our floor. Shout out to her. She was so great.
Yeah. She was on the other side of the hall too, so like there's no way. But like it was bad because you could literally smell it like the whole hallway. Oh my god, I can't believe I used to do that. That's so stupid and reckless. I would never do that now.
I can't believe how much we switched sides. Where like it turned into me and my car senior year in a parking garage because I lived in my fucking sorority, which we'll get to. Oh my god, biggest shock of the century, worst decision I've ever made thus far. But I would like go smoke in my car and be panicking the whole time. We really switched. I became
Yeah.
a smoker, and before I was like, oh my god, because it's anxiety. I'm always been afraid to try new things, which is why I literally vow I will never try any other drug. But maybe shrooms. Okay, sorry, bye. And I put it off for so long because I was so nervous, and then she did it. Now I smoke way too much. But yeah, so yeah, Mackenzie was a chill fucking roommate. That was awesome. And I miss her, but I'll see her again one day, I'm sure. Who knows? But yeah, she's like living in Colorado with a dog and a man now, so she really did good for herself.
Yeah,
um,
that was like the ideal roommate situation for you.
that was actually probably the
Um,
last time I had an ideal roommate situation. Just kidding. Not true, not true, but that was my best situation that I've ever had.
yeah, I mean, for me, like after freshman year, I really didn't have very many like other roommates. After freshman year, I did transfer schools. I went to the University of Alabama, but like at Birmingham, and I moved.
RIP, our friendship. Goodbye, Carol. Ruining my life, leaving me behind in this hell of a school.
Sorry, but yeah, I moved back home, and like
So I
I
would like to
remember
mention really quickly that Carol moved back home. Her roommate transferred back to, is from Colorado, transferred back to Colorado. And then our other friends that were on the other side of my room also left.
everyone
I
left.
had a
Everyone hated
panic
it.
attack all summer long, if anyone's wondering. Every friend I made pieced the fuck out. That was awesome.
That's not true. It was not all your
Pretty
friends.
much.
But yeah, I do remember like being I remember moving out of Tuscaloosa. I remember picking up my car. I was so excited. Like I was over the moon and so happy on that drive home. Like I was so happy to be
Fuck
leaving.
you.
Oh
As
my
I'm bawling
god.
my eyes out.
I really cannot stress enough like how unhappy I was my freshman year of college. Like probably worst year of my life. I mean, it had its moments. The good the good times were good and amazing and great, but the bad times were like really really bad.
And there was like just a peak age where you're like, I feel like
Yeah,
everyone's
you're
freshman year of college
18.
is hellish. Like, even if you're having fun, you're mostly having fun because you're distracting from how stressed you are about, like, oh my God, like
Life.
life. Yeah.
What
And
am I
like you went
doing?
into it with a long distance boyfriend. Like, yeah, just all the fun. And so many people do that. And then
Yeah.
it doesn't work out for many. Or the people will transfer to go back to the boyfriend and then they'll regret it because they'll still break up. Yeah,
Yeah.
freshman year is rough.
Yeah. But then I moved to Birmingham and I lived at home with my parents the rest of college or for the majority of it. Because my college was like a 20-minute drive away and I just like didn't really have time to work more hours with my school schedule to afford to move out and live with roommates. And I also like didn't want to take student loans out just to like move out. It really wasn't inconvenient. A lot of people also lived at home at my school, so it really was not weird. I know that it kind of sounds like weird to some people to like live at home all throughout college, but like for my situation, like it did not make sense not to.
And you had such a good
Um,
setup down there. Like your room was on the
yeah,
downstairs floor. You had a little fridge down there, laundry, living room.
yeah, I had like a little private, like not private, but like a separate entrance. So my parents would like usually go in through the front door, and I go in through like the downstairs door because my room was like underground basically. So yeah, it was definitely like a that was a good situation. I mean, it did get like love my parents so much. Thanks for letting me like freeload off of you for like 4 years, but I was ready to leave when I did.
Yeah, I mean that's the age where like they want you to fly the coop and you want to fly the coop.
Yeah. So after freshman year, who did you live with?
So sophomore year is like my quickest one because like really no drama. So sophomore year like was probably my like least remember year, maybe because I blocked it out because I had no friends anymore. But I ended up living with like a few girls from my sorority, and they're great. They're all great. Honestly, spent this year of my life trying to convince my friend slash one of my now roommates not to become a Mormon for her boyfriend, and now they're married. So I guess I should have shut the fuck up yet again. Didn't get the wedding invite. Not shocked though. I mean, like I really tried to get her to stop dating this man, and he was really nice. So you know what? I really need to just stop telling people what to
Oh my
do and maybe
god.
figure out my own jobless life. Anyway, um, yeah, but even if I got the wedding invite, I don't know what happens because I don't think you can go to the wedding if you're not Mormon. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't think
really
so
know.
either.
I don't really know. I'll never know. So besides that, it was me, her, and then like two other roommates, and they were all great. I One of them baked all the time, and she made the best.
Ooh,
She
that's
made the
awesome.
best like baked goods in the whole world, man. I miss that shit. I'd have like she would come in, she'd like make it, offer me it, and I'm so awkward that I'd be like, no, like I'm good. And then she'd leave and come home to me like fork in mouth, like, ooh, this shit's good. But yeah, besides that, I can pretty much go straight to my junior year roommate because I actually spent a lot of nights, my sophomore year apartment, getting phone calls in the middle of the night, staying up on the phone with who would become my junior year roommate, who we're gonna call Angie, because there are some rough parts of her life that I'm not trying to spew out there, but she would always call while fucked up and slurring that she needed to go to the hospital but can't drive because she's fucked up. And this would happen almost every night. So I would be
Oh my
afraid, like
god.
the one night I didn't answer is the night, Angie is no more, not to get dark with it. That, the anxiety, like I feel horrible like making this about me right now, but the anxiety I had that
No, that's a
year
lot.
is like, I mean, and she was also friends with the roommate that married the Mormon. So like we would both like she would just switch off calling. And like that friend was a very like she was becoming a pediatrician. So she was very busy studying. So I would get most of the phone calls in the middle of the night phone calls. And it was so friggin' stressful because she was one of my best friends. I met her freshman year
Oh yeah.
with the one that married a Mormon because they were roommates, and
Yeah, I
we
remember
hit it
hanging out
off
with him.
immediately. Like she's hilarious, and I was like, "Wow, I haven't laughed in ages. This is great." And she ended up dropping out after freshman year because her grades were really bad because she did have a drug problem. And yes, that was when it was still mainly like she was smoking weed all of the time, like not going to class. Pretty light start of the drug
That's
problem.
pretty basic. That's like typical freshman year of college behavior, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not
Yeah.
unusual. A lot of people do that.
Yes, especially at Alabama, like so many people not making it, so much partying. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um So she was really sad because that was like, I think someone in her family's school. So like it was always her dream to go there. Couldn't disagree more.
Can't relate.
Can't relate, even though I did make it my dream and then that was crushed. But anyway, um, she always was determined to come back, but she left and like had to figure her shit out and like get her grades back up to get back in. And so yeah, calls about that throughout sophomore year. And then I made the bright decision to live with her junior year when she came back because I'm like, whatever, this is like one of my closest friends. Like, I've never been a person that's been on top of a roommate situation. Like, I don't know. I'm never the girl that like had four girls ready to buy a house off campus. Not buy a house, but like there was all those off campus housing
Yeah.
and like you have a little house, which I always wanted so bad. But like I was never, not to sound like a freaking loser, but like I just never was in the right. I was always like in multiple groups, but never like in the best friends with the group. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
didn't stick to one group enough to like be involved in the housing plan. I don't know. Maybe I just suck, you guys.
Oh my god.
But so I was like, whatever, Angie it is, let's do this. Um so we picked a place, which that wasn't fun either because she was already a little irritable because the drug problem had escalated to other drugs, which yeah, I won't mention. But my even my mom will be like, "Yeah, it was hell finding you an apartment that year because we wanted to be in a normal price range." Yeah, I'm only a
Yeah.
junior in college, but she was like, she's like a rich kid. Like all these problems derive from rich kid problems, you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm not living there, I'm not living there," and, like, she wasn't on campus yet, so I'd have to go view them all and be like, "Okay, what do you want?" And we ended up living in, like, a freaking $700 a month, which for school is insanely high. I mean, you can rent a real home in Alabama for $700 a month.
Yeah.
So, but my mom
Cost of living in Tuscaloosa, like off campus, so low,
yeah.
so cheap.
So how we ended up in the most expensive place, I don't know. My mom was a real saint through that. She is always team Catherine isn't panicking, so let's just fine, you can live there. And so yeah, we lived there and we moved in. She lived in Tennessee, so she just brought like a truck of furniture, like furnished our whole apartment,
Yeah, that was clutch.
which gave her a lot of entitlement when she was in her angry modes. So that was scary. But we had like a pool. It was a cool place to live. We had a little gym. That was fun. Um so we pretty much I lived with her for only one semester that year because she ended up having to drop out again to go to rehab. Yeah. So the drug problem escalated really badly. She wasn't even smoking weed anymore. That wasn't enough. So yeah, Angie really went through it in her youth. Like she had, as I said, the rich kid problem where you have no consequences for anything. And she was very self-aware of this, but like she couldn't fix it because she was addicted to drugs. But she,
Yeah.
like, one time she crashed her Mercedes while fucked up and then was just like given a new one the next day. So
Yeah.
she was like, I've never learned a lesson in my life. Like,
Yeah.
she was very self-aware. I actually wrote my first script on her and like kind of with her. The
Aw.
stories in this girl's life, wild. I mean, literally one of those movies that you're constantly like, what? No, don't do that. But we're not friends anymore just because, like, I don't know. After that year, it just, after that semester, like,
I can imagine. That's a lot to go
we
through.
didn't recover. I mean, I still like have love for the girl. I really do. And like now she's married with a dog and like a house. So I guess things are
Yeah.
looking up as far as Instagram can tell me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of shut down after this year and like she reached out a lot and I just like would get anxious and not answer. And then it just kind of fizzled out. Yeah, it got bad though. Like I would bring people over and she'd be like asleep on the couch with a Jolly Rancher in her hair because she like felt she would always sleep on the couch too. She would never sleep in her room. She would like get fucked up and just fall asleep watching TV all day and like never was in class and would disappear for
Yeah.
hours, which I now like her mom came to like get the rest of her stuff and basically told me like, yeah, her parents were divorced and it was like that hard part of when you're divorced where you're not really communicating. So like she was kind of playing her parents for more money. And then when they finally talked about it, her mom was like, you were giving her how much money each week?
Yeah.
And she was like saying it was for gas, but it's like, no, it's not. And her dads are
No one needs
dumb.
that much
Moral of
gas.
the story, dads are so dumb. And she played on that, man. um,
Tuscaloosa is a small town. You don't need
yeah,
to drive that far.
legit. So small. But yeah, it got bad and like to the point where she would get mad at me for things that I was like, "What? Dude, what?" Like there was just no logic ever with the anger.
Yeah.
And the freaking it was always freezing in our apartment because she'd have it on like 50. I'd be
Oh my God.
and like some nights it would get so bad. Like there was this one time, so she had a cat we named Kitty. We're so original.
Oh, miss her.
Miss her so much. Like could still cry about it. My first pet technically. And she one night decides she wants to get another cat and I'm like I want to make it clear like cuz she would sometimes like use Kitty in an argument like you never do this and I'm like it's not my cat. Like I love her but she's
Yeah.
not my cat. And so I made it very clear for the second cat like it's not my cat. I cannot pay for things blah blah blah. But you can get it absolutely. And I don't even know what's true, what's false, but allegedly one night she went, picked up a cat. The person that gave it to her didn't tell her it had fleas. She drove all the way to Birmingham to get it, drove back, and like was calling me screaming that it was my fault. I told her to get the cat. I
Oh
wouldn't.
my
She was like, I
God.
have to keep it in your bathroom so that Kitty doesn't get fleas. And I was like, that sounds like just this sounds bad. Like, is there any way we can like I don't know. It was a mess. She was just screaming at me, telling me it's all my fault, and then telling me she's going to release the cat into the woods because now we can't have the cat. And then
Oh
to
my
this day, I
God.
don't know if she ever got the cat or was just in like a state of mind where she wanted to scream at me for no
Oh, you
reason.
never like
Never
laid
saw
eyes
it.
on the
Never
cat?
got a picture of the cat. No idea if this was a real story or not. But that's when it started. Where I would even my friend from home, she's a few years younger, ended up picking Alabama. Also transferred after her first semester. Kill me. No, everyone left but me. But she was there at the time and she was in that nice dorm. So I would end up sleeping on the floor of her dorm some nights when like Angie was being really angry. And
Yeah.
that's dark. Like I have an apartment and I'm sleeping in a dorm, but that's how, yeah.
A $700 a month apartment.
Yeah. So, but that's like, I'd be so anxious to go back because I had no idea who I was going to get that night. And like,
Yeah, that's
it
rough.
fucked up our relationship. Haven't talked to her since, but yeah, that was that. I had a kid, but then second semester she was gone. I had the apartment and the kitten because her mom asked me to watch the kitten for like till the end of the year, and then she'd figure it out. And then you came that year for your 21st birthday, and you met Keegan, and that apartment is the beginning of your love story. So what a nice turnaround that was.
Yeah. It honestly worked out so great for me because then like whenever I visited
Glad.
Kat, like I had a literal like my own room.
Yeah.
Like I had my own bedroom, even though we would usually like sleep in the same bed.
Yeah,
But
true facts. But you, yeah.
it's a sleepover, okay?
Well, when
But yeah,
Gabby
we
would
had like our
come,
own.
it was perfect. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When Gabby would come or Keegan, like own like my own
I had a
apartment within
guest
your
room,
apartment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next. I, as I mentioned, made a horrible decision to live in my sorority, and not to point fingers, but I was supposed to room with the girl that married a Mormon, and she ditched me dead ass last second because she's a people pleaser too. And there was this girl that like couldn't find a roommate, and she was like, I just feel so bad. Like she wants to live with me so bad. And I was like, fuck you, bro. Fuck you. You know, I would have never lived in this hell of a sorority that I can't even believe I'm still in because I'm such of a pussy to drop. Who even knows why? And well, I did like the food. I loved the food. Anyway,
Stayed for the food.
literally. But I was so mad. I feel like I've never had an easy, like, since freshman year roommate scenario. I always end up feeling like a loser. Anyway,
Yeah.
so because I was the only one that chose to live in the sorority without already having a roommate, I got a girl. So I was a senior at this point, and I got the junior because, like, if there was enough rooms, they would, like, the first junior on the list would get bumped up and be, like, allowed because they prioritize seniors living in the house. So she had no one to room with. No offense, but for good reason. This girl is the most annoying person I've ever lived with in my life. And she was obsessed with weird. So she was a super, super Southern, like, sorry, but half the time I did not even know what she was saying level of an accent. And she was like best friends with her mom, and they would constantly be having the loudest phone calls of my life. When I'd like be sitting there like studying, I'd be like, God, I get the fucking hint. I'll go somewhere else in my room because you and your mom have to catch up for another 3 hours again. And then she weirdly like was obsessed with Lord of the Rings, which I would not picture for her, but she
Yeah,
was.
that is like that doesn't fit.
Yeah, it doesn't fit into her character wheel if we were writing it. But I got to wake up every day to Orlando Bloom as an elf pointing an arrow at me because she had a life size cutout of whatever his character name is. And
Legolas.
Legolas, and she would point that fucking arrow towards me. I don't know if on purpose, but I woke up to this man pointing an arrow at me. So that's awesome.
I want to
And
be mad about it.
yeah, then like she was always there, and like she like wanted to hang out with me and be my friend, and I couldn't be more confused by that because I'm like, I couldn't be more different than you. Like
Yeah.
we're not even on the
Opposites.
same side of politics, if you know what I'm saying. And this is when Trump was like running, so it was hell. She would constantly be like, I love Trump, and she knew that it would like I'd be over there watching Hillary. Like she knew it was torture. And I was just like, we are different people. And then that whole year, I would like, thank God I had a good group of friends that did live off campus, and I basically either lived in their house or my car. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
quite a
I
year.
like when you kind of mentioned like this roommate, I was like, I literally forgot about her because
Me
like
too,
she
blocked her
was,
out.
but yeah, I mean, it was really inconvenient because then I no longer had a place to stay when I would visit you
It was so inconvenient. It was the
because
worst
your room was
decision I've
like too
ever
small for us to
made.
both sleep there.
Yeah, literally, I went back to a twin bed. Who does that? Had to keep all my like my full bed in storage because I decided to live in my. It just doesn't make sense. It never will.
Yeah.
I
Speaking
basically
of,
it was because I had a roommate, and then that roommate left me, and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
my senior year was like a little bit longer than most because it had like a little extra semester tacked on. You know, I
Nothing
had
wrong
another
with
lap.
changing your major, okay, everybody? That's the lesson Carol
Yeah.
can teach you. Do what you love, no matter if it causes you a lot of stress and graduating later than you'd like to, and money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't regret it, but yeah, anyways, like that summer before my final fall semester, because I graduated end of fall semester, I moved in with Keegan, my now husband, and then his best friend also moved in, Ben, and then there was like another roommate there too. So that was like for the summer, those like 3 months I was like living with the three of them, which was actually like because I had online classes. So I pretty much had online classes every summer because I was constantly changing my teacher. I want to say I changed it 4 times total, uh, which is like crazy, very indecisive here. But I had all online classes, so I decided to just like live in Charleston for the summer. Like, why not? So I actually really loved like that time. Like it was a lot of fun like living with them. And the house was awesome because it was in downtown
So
Charleston
you liked
and
being new
location was
girl.
great. Yeah, like it had its downs.
It's
Like
Jess.
it was mostly just because like Keegan and I were long distance, so like getting to spend so much time with him was like a game changer.
I love that
But
house
I
too. I drove from
yeah,
Alabama a few times to visit, and I that's probably one of my favorite houses you've had.
Ben, Keegan's like best friend, was like working at FedEx. Like he was like waiting on a job.
Employee of the month. He was employee of the
Yeah,
month.
he
Get it,
he was
Ben.
employee of the month. He's got the plaque, but he was like working at FedEx and I was working like retail. So we both had these like bullshit like part-time jobs that we like did not care about. And Keegan was like slaving away all day supporting us. And so he like was gone all the time. So it would just be like, and the roommate that also lived there like was on the same work schedule and had the same job as Keegan. So Ben and I were home alone a lot and we would just like hang out and it was like always so fun.
Watch
We would be
America's Next
like,
Top Model.
yeah, we'd be watching like America's Next Top Model or something, like getting drunk in the afternoon. Keegan would come home to his like degenerate best friend and girlfriend, like hammered on the couch.
Married his
No.
best friend, literally. He was like, huh, I want that makes sense why I was so attracted to her. I love Ben with all my heart. She's just like him.
Yeah, that was a fun
I
experience
would love
though.
living with them. I will say, like, I could live with a guy that was my friend, I guess. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to live with like a group of guys.
So no woes there. You loved where you were more focused on your honeymoon phase than like pooping around a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, I didn't really have any issues living there. I mean, sometimes like people would like be messy or like leave their dishes in the sink, which was like so annoying because we had a dishwasher. Um so it's like put them in the fucking sink. But
Classic.
other than that, like it was just really a fun experience. I really don't have too many qualms.
That's good. That's hot.
So after your senior year, what was your like living
I
situation
went
once you
on
graduated?
back home, graduated 2017, wrote that baby, made it. I was
Back
the
to
happiest
Boston?
girl at graduation. Everyone else was crying, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm out of here!
Same.
Get me out!" And I'm such an asshole. Like, wow, sorry to my mom and dad who literally still root for Alabama so hard and love that I went there because they love sports. So sorry. I swear I did love a lot of it, and your funding didn't go to nothing. But I feel so guilty. Okay. Then I lived with my parents for a year because I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. Still don't really, unless you guys want to rate, review, subscribe, take us to the top. And I knew I wanted to do film, but I was like, I don't know how. Like you do that. And I ended up working for my mom. How
Oh
pathetic.
yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared of interviews. You got any positions available? Like, the most nepotism shit in the whole fucking world. She literally got me a job in marketing, which helped a lot. I learned how to use Canva and shit like that. And basically spent all my days on the Instagram liking travel blogs, wishing that I was the one traveling. And yeah, so that was,
Because it was a travel company,
yes,
right?
yes, sorry. It was a travel company. And so the thing is, those weren't great roommates either because my parents were actually pretty happy that their kids flew the coop. As much as they love us, they had really adjusted to like no kids. So me and my mom fought a lot when I moved back in. But then I finally moved to New York. I was so freaking nervous, so freaking nervous. Cannot say that enough. I knew I wanted to
I
go.
bet.
I've never wanted to live in Boston. Like, I love Boston as a home base, but like, everyone stays here. It's just like you're going out in high school if you go out into but you're just at a bar now, basically. Like no
Yeah.
one leaves. No one leaves my town. They just move from home to Boston. And I always like resented that. I think because I grew up with like a dad that's a townie. So I was just like, I can't do that. Like I love having people in one place. But I also was like, I need newness, which is weird because new things terrify me. Nothing makes sense. But I moved to New York, always been obsessed with New York, love Broadway. We all know it. I'll sing if you want. No, I won't. But I ended up like my more nepotism, my cousin's wife, like on her other side of her family, was in film and accounting. And like we went to New York once. I met her. She was like, yeah, I don't really know, but I'll take your email and let you know. And I moved there in October because she was like, "Yep, I actually have a job for you if you want to be an accounting clerk," which I had no idea what that was. And you can't Google it, folks, because no one knows what it is. But you're just filing film stuff all day, like
Yeah.
people's W-2s and shit. Um, but I had so much fun because I love.
It gets your foot in the door though.
Yes, it's actually the great networking is accounting because you get normal hours, like you get to leave by 6 instead of having, but you still get paid for 12 hours. And
Nice.
all the producers before the movie starts are in office and coming into accounting. So it really is great networking, but I just
Yeah.
could not convince myself I liked it enough to stay there. So I'm no longer in accounting if anyone wants to hire me as a director's assistant or producer's assistant. Anyway, um, so I moved and I was supposed to move with my friend, but she had just started dating someone and they were honeymoon phase. So she like backed out pretty last minute, literally begged her to tell me she wasn't coming. And she went into an anxiety spiral and wouldn't admit it. And then I got the Roomie app, ROOMI, free plug. And me and my roommate ended up being a very successful roommate story. We lived together for 2 years in our first apartment. And then when the pandemic hit, it was just like, it was a perfect apartment and location for us never being there. Not a good apartment for this age of like always being
Yeah.
there. So she kind of like, I went home for 7 months during the pandemic, haha, and she stayed because like she had to work from home for her job and films just shut down. So I was golden to go home. And she basically was like, we should move. I mean, I'm working in the kitchen. Like, we need to add one more
Yeah,
so we
that
can get a
sucks.
bigger space. So I right away was like, I don't know about adding a third roommate. That spiked my anxiety because it was a new thing. And I was like, another person, like, I go straight to like, as much as I really like my roommate, I was like, your odds of being alone are so much lower now. Like, one roommate,
Yeah.
they leave house apartment to yourself. Two roommates, you got like, you're never going to be alone ever again.
Yeah.
And that was my first thing. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But eventually I was like, no, that makes sense. Let's do it. And she
Yeah.
brought in this girl that she knew from like she worked at the same place as her, but she like had just moved to New York, so she needed a roommate. And I like had met her once before the world shut down. Literally the last night out before the world shut down, I met her. And I was like, yeah, she's cool, whatever, let's do it. And we did. I moved in, and like they both had boyfriends from day one. And like now we're on to my current situation where I do live in a couple hotel. I do. And like whatever, I don't have a boyfriend, so like I'm sure I'd have more like, sympathy if I did, but I'm not kidding. Like I know our apartment is cool, which hey guys, it is cool. What's up? Guess that comedian didn't think it was cool. If you go back to not to keep referencing old episodes, haha, listen to all our episodes. Um I guess he didn't think it was cool because he unfollowed me after I
Oh my
posted my
god.
living room, but whatever. Cool apartment. I get it. But yeah, it quickly became like their boyfriends became friends and they had this little quad, and K-Dog is not really in the quad, which I'll give it. I mean, I really was not there a lot. Like I left for those 7 months. And then when we moved in, like I bawled my fucking eyes out because I was like, everything's new. My apartment's new. I've been home for so long. I'm readjusted to being with my close friends from home all the time. I bawled my eyes out so hard.
Yeah.
And then it just like didn't get better. Like not better, like I'm being dramatic, but like it takes me a while to get comfortable, and them having their boyfriends there all the time. I was like, I'm never gonna want to leave my room. Like, and that's a me thing. Like, people should be able to have their boyfriends over, but the frequency was sending me into stress. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where I'm at now. And now I have to eventually send this text message saying, please remember that I live there and that I wish this was a discussion and not this is happening, because now I have a male roommate. Woohoo, I'm Carol now. I'm new girl. I don't know. It just sucks. It sucks. I'm stressed, but that's that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like your roommate situation is like that you're currently in, like, obviously the situation right now sucks, but like overall, like you like your roommates and you love your
Yes,
apartment.
love my
So,
apartment so much. Really like my roommates. I just like it is that no one's fault, but like the nature of things is like they work together. They got really close. Their
yeah.
boyfriends are close. Like they don't leave me out. Like they invite me to things, blah blah blah. But it feels like this was a conversation that they had, and then I was looped in, and that is what's making K Dog pretty upset right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can
And
understand
change is
that.
really hard for me. So like to just throw it on there, like turmoil. I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in turmoil.
Yeah. Well, when I moved out of like moving to Charleston, that was like such an exciting move for me because I was gonna move in with Keegan and we had been long distance for so long. And like I was just so ready to like finally like be together now that I was like done with school and I had like gotten a job in Charleston. I'm like a planner. So I actually got the job that was gonna start in January after I graduated in December. I got that job in October. So I was on top of my shit. That's how ready I was to like move out.
You really were on that. I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, shout out, like, love you, Steph and Tracy, but when you're 23 and, like, fresh out of college, it's like, "All right, I don't need you guys crimping my style anymore,"
And I
you
used to be
know?
able to visit you all the time, but when I graduated and you had your extra semester, you were all by your friggin' lonesome.
I know, that, like, seriously was the last semester was tough, but yeah, living with a significant other, though, is definitely, like, a big step. It definitely, like, does change, like, your
And was
relationship.
that your first time, like, living with a boyfriend ever?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'd never lived with a boyfriend before, um, or anything like that, so our relationship though was like long distance and then we moved in together. So it's like totally opposite. But our situation is like a little unique because we like started traveling together like first month into our relationship. Like I knew what to expect. Like we had traveled together so many times. I spent that whole summer with him. Like there was no huge shock or like a huge adjustment because I like am so like have always been so comfortable with him and so it really wasn't that bad. Um I will say Kat, like, told me I, like, have to, like, say this
You have to
because
say
she
this
was
for
like, "It was
all the
so
ladies out
relatable."
there because it's very relatable, and I have other friends making these same complaints about living with their boyfriend, which it's the best case scenario of complaint, but I feel like every woman's about to roll her eyes and say, "Uh-huh, child, preach."
Yeah, well, when we first, like, moved in together, I was always, like, the messy one, and, like, Keegan was definitely more, like, neat and tidy, and that has changed over the years. I definitely would say now, like, I'm more neat and tidy and, like, he's messier. He probably can hear me in the other room, and he's, like,
This
gonna
bitch.
whip the door open and be like, "No, I'm not."
Give
Um
me a chance to say my side.
Yeah, I would definitely say like a big thing well, that's gonna happen when you move in with probably with anyone, but mostly like a boyfriend or significant other, is like you're gonna probably argue about housework from time to time. And I was telling Kat like about this, because she was saying it's like so relatable. So let me know if I'm a psycho or if you would also do
Fucking
this. Like
hilarious.
DM us, email
I
us,
can't
hello at pretty much fine.
wait.
And I once
Ducker.
heard that psychologically, everyone always thinks that they are doing more from everyone else, like just by default. Like everyone is kind of the main character in their head, and so like if you're sitting at work and you're like, "Man, I do everything around here," everyone else is slacking off. Everyone is thinking the same thing. They're all like, "I do everything around here. Why is everyone slacking off?" Like, so it's the same way with housework. Like you're like, "Why are they slacking off?" And they're like, "Why is she slacking off?" You know what I mean? So Keegan and I, and probably every other couple in the world, have this issue where I think I do all the housework, and Keegan thinks he does all the housework too. So we both are like always like thinking we're always doing it. And so I was saying to Kat, like, since we always get into this argument, I was really like, I should keep a legit log, like, and be
I
like,
wanted
this
to. It's
day
hilarious.
I did the dishes. This day I tidied up the house. This day he left his sweatshirt on the sofa for 4 days. Like, I was like, literally, like, I should keep a log so that
This
when
day,
he.
I put poop from our cat's litter box on his pillow and he didn't even notice.
But I was like, I want to just have this like notebook of like everything, like I did X, Y, and Z. So when we inevitably get into this argument, I can just whip it out and be like, June 1st, 2020, you did this, or I did this, and you did nothing. You know what I mean?
You'd
So
love
I
that.
was
Anyone
like,
would love that.
I know. Like imagine being in an argument with your significant other and you just whip out a notebook. Like you're like, when did I do that? And they're like, let me tell you.
Oh my god. Then they'd whip out their phone and say, "We need couples counseling, you absolute psycho."
I know, but I was like, how satisfying would that be to literally whip out a notebook and be like, argument one,
I think
you
that relates to
lost.
anxiety too, because I agree. Because when I am in arguments and they're like, "Okay, what's an example of me doing that?" I'm like, "Well, now my mind's gone blank on every
I know that
example
always
of you
happens to
doing
me.
that. So now I look like I'm lying."
Yeah, but I decided maybe that was a little too psycho, so I deleted the notebook from my
Cute
Amazon
but
cart.
psycho. Oh my god, it was in the cart. That's
In the
fucking
cart, ready to
hilarious.
go.
Maybe you should just do it and that'll be therapeutic for you, but never pull it out.
Yeah, I think he would be like, okay,
He'd be like,
maybe
"What
you
else
really
is
do
in
need to see
there?
someone.
What else are
What
you
else you got in
writing?"
this notebook?
Jeez, yeah. He'd be like tiptoeing around your apartment waiting for a passive aggressive note somewhere.
Anyways, Kat, I have a quick question for you.
Oh, let's get
What
it.
would you say was your favorite, like, living situation or roommate situation out of all of these?
You next to me in our dorm, and no one in the dorm because no one was ever there. Even when I got a roommate, I peaked freshman year of college. So it's all
Honestly,
downhill. It's all downhill from here.
physically, I peaked freshman year of college for sure.
I would
That was
do
like,
anything to live even next to you again. I can't say that enough. Great for my mental health, maybe bad for yours, but whatever, I'll
I
risk it.
mean, I got a guest room.
Oh no, you have no idea. Whenever I'm panicking and spiraling about like my living situation, I'm like, okay, worst case scenario is best. I'm moving to Charleston into Carol's guest room.
I'm down.
I'm so down.
Uh,
Should we do our like speaking of passive aggressive notes? We decided to do since we told so many stories throughout this beautiful episode. We decided to end with a little would you rather roommate edition, and I got to read mine because I put a passive aggressive note scenario in there. Okay.
I'm excited. I want to hear it.
We
Let's
both
go. Hit
don't know
me.
each other, so here we go,
Yeah.
Carol. Would you rather a roommate that leaves passive aggressive sticky notes everywhere and color coats them by complaint, like blue for cleaning, red for your noise level, etc., or a roommate whose boyfriend might as well live in your apartment because he's always there, like in Broad City, Bevers, like just eating your food, walking around shirtless in his boxers when you're about to brush your teeth, and you're like, ah!
I would definitely say the notes
You'd
for
rather the
sure.
notes.
Yeah, because I like grew up like I don't even know how to deal with issues in a non-passive aggressive way because that's how me and like my family just is.
Anxiety. Same. We're such a sweep it under the rug family. It has set me up for
Yeah, I'm
disaster.
my whole life is just being passive aggressive. So I feel like, and honestly, I would appreciate the color coded touch because that's like a Capricorn move,
I did
and I
that to
feel
make
it.
it harder to decide. You asshole. I'm pissed.
I was like, honestly, I respect it. Like, put it in a spreadsheet
Fuck
and we'll
off.
talk.
You're right. I was talking to an organized Capricorn. I'm pissed. I should have gone so much harder on that. Whatever.
Oh my god.
I think I'd pick the color code too, even just because, like, if they're that quiet and passive aggressive, I'm just gonna keep doing it until they finally
Yeah.
yell at me.
Till they snap and murder
Yeah,
you.
and as you can tell, I don't want to live with a man, so obviously not picking number two.
Yeah, I would not want to live like have someone's like boyfriend over all
I
the time.
don't
That would be
even
so
want to live
annoying.
with my own boyfriend that I don't have. Like, what the hell is going on? Okay, anyway.
Okay, let me hit you with my would you rather. You
Okay,
ready?
yeah, I'm ready. I'm so
Okay.
excited.
Would you rather live with a group of guys who are always constantly playing pranks on each other or live in a nudist
You
colony?
know, you just made that way too easy. I love pranks. I love pretending I'm one of the boys. I'm
Are you
ready.
serious? You'd want to live where they're like every time you don't know you're going to turn a corner and someone's going to like pie you in the face?
Rather
Like
than
you'd be cool
see
with
a
that.
dick while I'm pouring my cereal, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
and
god.
I would like want to outprank them all. I would want to make the boys see that they aren't as fucking the women are playing the real fucking games out here. Let's go. And you know I
Keegan.
love to prank you in our dorm all
Oh
the
my
time.
god. Keegan, like his like college roommates, like they would always like prank each other, and it sounded terrible. Like they would do like put like this one guy, they would always put his shoes in the freezer. So like he'd go to put his shoes on, and they're in the freezer, and it's like -20
Isn't that good
outside.
for
You know what I
your
mean?
jeans? Too bad they didn't help him out and put his jeans in the freezer.
No, then you can't get them on. But yeah, I just could not imagine. Like I'd pick the nudist colony all day. But
You legit live in an episode of Impractical Jokers.
that's what I was like. I would hate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I would not be able to not look at tits and dicks if they were in front of my face. So I would just feel so uncomfortable. And like that thing where like you can't look, but technically you can because they're very comfortable. But I would be extremely uncomfortable. And no, yeah, I would just be one of the boys playing pranks all
All
day,
right, all
baby.
right. I mean, I respect your
It would
decision.
suck though because I am so gullible and I would fall for every prank.
I just feel like it'd be anxiety inducing to like not be sure like if you're gonna wake
Yeah, but
up
then
and
also like I'm like,
your
hey
clothes are gonna
mom,
be somewhere, you know.
meet hey mom, meet Jenny. She's naked. Like, what? I'd rather them just prank my mom than my mom have to shake a nudist hand. Which I'm fine with nudists, but yeah, definitely picking pranks.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I respect it. Go
Like,
off.
even a nude beach in Europe, I'll probably still have, like, my bottoms on, like, I'm not ready for that at all. I didn't even
I
change in
figured
locker rooms in high school. I was like, "I'll be in the stall. See y'all later."
well, I think that's it. That about wraps it up.
That wraps it up. Can't wait for my Sunday scaries after this episode. I just wanna really make it clear to my roommates, love you guys. Just please never send me a text message like that ever again.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope you guys, oh, please, I don't check the email, but send us Carol
I
does.
do. I do.
Please send us an email of, like, a roommate horror story because I'm sure there's much
Yes.
worse out there. Like, we're almost lucky for all of those stories are not even close to as bad as it can be.
Yes, agree. You can reach out to us, Kat and Carol, or you can send in any of your still suing or survived it stories by emailing hello@prettymuchfine.com. You can follow us at Pretty Much Fine Pod on Instagram and on TikTok, pretty_much fine on Twitter, and Pretty Much Fine on YouTube.
See you next week, everybody. Hope, pick good roommates or never not live alone if you can.
Yes, exactly. All right, we will talk to you guys next Sunday.